Okay, hello there, this is Matthew Pashkowski. This is my recording for CS5335, Robotic Science and Systems, homework number 4, the mission to all the moons of a planet. So right now I am putting the code in, and I need to change the quotation marks, as I have written all my code in Microsoft Word, and Word uses different quotation marks than KOS. So now we are going to run it. Cool. So, we are targeting the moon, and we have 17,000 seconds until our first burn, which is why I am speeding up. Okay, so in order to try to find the shortest path to get to all the moons of a planet, I made a few simplifying assumptions. The first assumption I made is that I would only be looking at home and burns. I hyper-edited, teleported my ship into orbit for that starting orbit, but conserving fuel is a big concern, which is why I was only looking at those burns as far as saving fuel. The burns to change inclination are not coordinated to save fuel efficiency, though. The second assumption I made, which doesn't apply as much in the Kerbin example, but would in the Joule, is that I would only ever be looking at the first 3 moons from the planet as far that I haven't gone to for where to go next. I didn't calculate a full path. I just had my ship choose a target each time and then burn to that target. So first thing it does is it checks the second and theoretically the third moon of a planet to see if it can do a home and burn almost immediately. If it can do a home and burn almost immediately, then it will go to one of those 2 moons. Otherwise, it will go towards the innermost moon that it hasn't yet visited. Once there, what will happen is it will enter and then leave the moon's sphere of influence, at which point it will recircularize its orbit around Kerbin, or whatever the center of planet is, and then reevaluate. In the scenario of Kerbin, because there's only 2, obviously once it goes to the moon, it will reevaluate, see min-miss is its only option, and then go to min-miss. But on Joule, it would look between the first 3 moons, and then whatever the next 3 inner moons it hasn't visited yet, etc., until it has visited everything. Okay, so what is happening now is the home and burn, where it is going to intercept with the moon's sphere of influence. This apoapsis will increase to be about 1 kilometer or so beyond the orbit of the, beyond the orbit of the moon. So once we hit that point, it will stop burning, and we can warp ahead. So now, here we are in the sphere of influence of the moon, and because Kerbal needs to do physics, it slowed itself down to be 50 times warp. But now that we're solidly in the moon's physics, we can speed back up, and now we are out. So now, it is going to try to recircularize its orbit. In order to do that, it's going to burn prograde once the altitude is within a kilometer of the apoapsis. So I am going to warp so that way we can get there a little quicker real time. Okay, and then I don't want to overshoot it, so I'm going to slow down the warp. And we're looking for 622. Okay, we're going to continue speeding up a little bit, just to get those last 0.2 kilometers. Okay, and now we are going to burn prograde until we circularize our orbit. The orbit prediction is freaking out as it passes over the moon, but once it gets past that, we now have a new orbit, and the ship has decided it's next going to target Minmus. So 156,000, so we're talking 15 on the 10,000. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. And then we're going to go a little bit farther until we see the throttle shoot up, at which point we will turn the zoom off and let the ship actually do its home burn. Two assumptions made in the home and burn calculations is that position, angular position around the central planet is theta in spherical coordinates, so that doesn't factor in the inclination. I made that assumption as all inclinations of the various moons are within 10 degrees or so it didn't seem that off. And then all the calculations are also based off of a perfectly circular orbit. That obviously works for the moons because they do have perfectly circular orbits. For the ship, it works really well for the first orbit where it was set up by hyperedit, but for other orbits like this, where the eccentricity is a little higher, there's still a little bit of flexibility. Okay. So now we're still... Okay. Now we've begun the home and burn. So now it's burning so the apoapsis gets to the orbit of Minmus. And then we are going to speed up. So we appear to have missed min-miss by a little bit, but that is the general idea behind my code. Thank you.